y'all, and welcome to the new book releases for June the 5th. Not sure which genre to start on yet, but there are a few this week, and there will be timestamps as like normal, because I've gotten to do it every time I've gotten to where I don't forget. Haha. I'm Morgan, and thank you so much for clicking. If you enjoy this, consider subscribing. And now, into this list of interestingness. I think we'll start with mystery. This first one is a historical mystery. It's called A Botanist's Guide to Flowers and Fatality by Kate Kavari. This is a second one, but I'm not sure that it's a direct sequel, or if like you have to read the first one just to know it, or if it's just this, similar, that it is the same character, but okay. In 1920s London isn't the ideal place for a brilliant woman with lofty ambitions, but research assistant Saffron Everly is determined to beat the odds in a male-dominated field at the University College of London. Saffron embarks on her first research study alongside the insufferably charming Dr. Michael Lee, traveling the countryside with him in response to the reports of poisonings. But when Detective Inspector Green is given a case with a set of unusual clues, he asks for Saffron's assistance. The victims, all women, received bouquets filled with poisonous flowers. Digging deeper, Saffron discovers that the bouquets may be more than just unpleasant flowers. There may be hidden messages within them, revealed through the use of old Victorian practice of florography? A dire message indeed, as each woman who received the flowers has turned up dead. So, interesting. If you like that time period-y type of thing as well. Our next one is just a crime mystery, and this is All Listeners Bleed by S.A. Cosby. It's a police procedural, though. A black sheriff, a serial killer, a small town ready to combust. Titus Crown is the first black sheriff in the history of Charn County, Virginia. In recent decades, quiet Charn has had only 2 murders, but after years of working as an FBI agent, Titus knows better than anyone while his hometown might seem like a land of moonshine, cornbread, and honeysuckle, secrets always fester under the surface. Then, a year to a day after Titus's election, a school teacher is killed by a former student, and the student is fatally shot by Titus's deputies. As Titus investigates the shootings, he unearths terrible crimes and a serial killer who has been hiding in plain sight, haunting the dirt lanes and the woodland clearings of Charn. With the killer's possible connections to a local church and the town's harrowing history weighing on him, Titus projects confidence about closing the case while concealing a painful secret from his own past. At the same time, he also has to contend with a far-right group that wants to hold a parade in celebration of the town's Confederate history. From there, we'll make the odd maybe jump to YA. This one is going to be The Grimoire of Grave Fates by Margaret Owen. I think it's a combination work, because it says created by Margaret Owen and created by Hannah Alkaf. Crack open your spellbook and enter the world of the illustrious Galileo Academy for the Extraordinary. There's been a murder on campus, and it's up to the students of Galileo to solve it. Follow 18 authors and 18 students as they puzzle out the clues and find the guilty party. So I think that means there's lots of different authors that contributed to this story. Professor of Magical History Septimus Dropwort has just been murdered, and now everyone at the Galileo Academy for the Extraordinary is a suspect. A prestigious school for young magicians, the Galileo Academy has recently undergone a comprehensive overhaul, reinventing itself as a roaming academy in which students of all cultures and identities are celebrated. In this new Galileo, every pupil is welcome, but there are some who aren't so happy with the recent changes. That includes everyone's least favorite professor, Septimus Dropwort, a stodgy old man known for his harsh rules and harsher punishments. But when the professor's body is discovered on school grounds with a mysterious note clenched in his lifeless hand, the academy students must solve the murder themselves, because everyone's a suspect. All right. And then it lists all the contributors down there at the bottom. And our next YA is called St. Juniper's Folly by Alex Crespo. It describes itself as, or somebody describes it as, Cemetery Boys meets The Haunting of Bly Manor. It's a debut novel. For Jamie, returning to Vermont town of St. Juniper means returning to a past he spent 8 years trying to forget. After shuttling between foster homes, he hopes to make something out of his fresh start, but every gossip in town already knows his business, and with reminders of his past everywhere, he seeks out solitude in the nearby woods, St. Juniper's Folly, and does not return. For Theo, St. Juniper means being stuck. He knows there's more out there, but he's scared to go find it. His senior year is going to be like all the rest, dull and claustrophobic. That is until he wanders into the folly and stumbles on a haunted house with acerbic, yet handsome boy trapped inside, as in physically trapped. For Taylor, St. Juniper is a mystery. She tries to practice the magic her dad banned from the house after her mom, an accomplished witch, suddenly died. But without someone to guide her, she's floundering. Then a wide-eyed teenager barges into her life, rambling about a haunted house and a trapped boy. He needs a witch. The folly and its ghosts will draw these three teenagers together, but can they face their demons to forge a bond strong enough to escape the folly's shadows? So it's supposed to be a haunted house mystery. Moving on into the romance genre, we have this one that sounds very interesting. It's like Second Chance, I think. It's Same Time Next Summer by Annabelle Monaghan. Beach rules. Do not take long walks on the sand. Do not put an umbrella in every cocktail. Do not run into your first love. Sam's life is on track. She has the perfect doctor fiancé, Jack. His strict routines are a good thing, really. A great job in Manhattan, unless they fire her, and is about to tour a wedding venue near her family's Long Island beach house. Everything should go to plan, yet the minute she arrives, Sam senses something is off. Wyatt is here. Her Wyatt. But there's no reason for a 30-year-old engaged woman to feel panicked about the guy who broke her heart when she was 17, right? Yet being back at this beach, hearing notes from Wyatt's guitar float across the night air next door, as if no time has passed, Sam's memories come flooding back. The feel of Wyatt's skin on hers, their nights in the treehouse, the truth behind their split. Sam remembers who she used to be, and as Wyatt re-enters her life, their connection is as undeniable as it always was. She will have to make a choice. The next one is Unfortunately Yours by Tessa Bailey. This is going to be, I think, in the same world as her first one, whose name I don't remember. But it's because it takes place in that same Napa Valley town, but it's following a different couple. This one says, after losing her job and her fiancé in one fell swoop, Natalie Voss returned home to lick her wounds. A few months later, she's sufficiently drowned her sorrows in cabaret and she's ready to get back on her feet. She just needs her trust fund to finance her new business venture. Unfortunately, the terms require she marry before she can have the money. And, well, dumped, remember? But Natalie is desperate enough to propose to a man who makes her want to kill him and kiss him in equal measure. Yep, that's all of them, aren't they? August Cates may own a vineyard, but he doesn't know jack about making wine. He's determined to do his best friend proud, no matter what it takes. Except his tasting room is empty, his wine is disgusting. Seriously, he once saw someone gag. And his buddy's legacy is circling the drain. No bank will give him the loan he needs to turn the business around. And then the gorgeous, feisty heiress knocks on his door. Natalie has haunted August's dreams since the moment they met, but their sizzling chemistry immediately morphed into simmering insults. Now, a quickie marriage could help them both, a sham wedding, a few weeks living under the same roof, and then they can go their separate ways, assuming they make it out alive. How hard could it be? There's just one thing they didn't account for. Their unfortunate, unbearable, undeniable attraction. Alright, we'll move into sci-fi, and this first one, I wasn't sure if it's actually been published before. Nothing seems to say that it has, but yet it also sounds like it has. And that's The Woods of Arcady. It's book 2 in the Sanctuary of the White Friars by Michael Moorcock. See, I said I can't talk. It says, a wild desert crossing, a secret island paradise, a hidden underground civilization, plus London and Paris. The multiverse expands as pulp adventure mixes with unreal memoir in the second volume in the Sanctuary of the White Friars. Because it says it's in the 1970s, Michael Moorcock, a writer of genre fiction, attempts to save his failing marriage by taking his wife and daughters to Paris. One night in the bar, he's amazed to find himself drinking with heroes of story and history. The next day, he awakens aboard a sailing ship kidnapped into another reality by French highwaymen and the Four Musketeers, who know Moorcock well from adventures in London's Alskia. But that was another Moorcock from another world. It says the main narrative of The Woods of Arcady is punctuated by episodes from the story of the Blackstones and by spirited, free-willing appearances by Captain Buggery Otherly and his companions from the Second Ether. As readers move deeper into Moorcock's multiverse, it rises up on all sides, ready to astound. Then we have The Endless Vessel by Charles Soule. A few years from now, a world similar to ours, there exists a sort of depression plague that people refer to simply as the Gray. No one can predict whom it will afflict or how, but once infected, there's no coming back. A young Hong Kong-based scientist, Lily Barnes, is trying to maintain her inner light in the increasingly dark world. The human race is dwindling, and people fighting to push forward are increasingly rare. One day, Lily comes across something that seems to be addressing her directly, calling to her, asking her to follow a path to whatever lies at its end. Is this the endless vessel to happiness? She leaves her life behind and sets out through time and space to find out. So, it says, from its opening heart-stopping scene in the present day at the Louvre in Paris, through the earthly meetings between Lily and her loved ones past and present, to a shocking and satisfying conclusion in the truly enchanted forest, Charles Soule has channeled history, science, and drama to create a story for the ages, a story of hope and love and possibility. This is a novel you will not soon forget. Our last sci-fi is Translation State by Anne Leakey. This is different and involves robots. Quoven was created to be a pressenger translator. The pride of their clade, they always had a clear path before them, learn human ways, and eventually make a match and serve as an intermediary between the dangerous alien pressenger and the human worlds. The realization that they might want something else isn't optimal behavior. Is the type of behavior that results in elimination. But Queven rebels, and in doing so, their path collides with those of two others. Ine, a reluctant diplomat whose dead grandmaman has left her here an impossible task as an inheritance, hunting down a fugitive who has been missing for over 200 years, and Reet, an adopted mechanic who is increasingly desperate to learn about his genetic roots, or anything that may explain why he operates so differently from those around him. As a conclave of the various species approaches and the long-standing treaty between the humans and the pressenger is on the line, the decisions of all three will have ripple effects across the stars. I don't know if some of these are actually misspelled or typed wrong. It's very hard to read some of these things out. But we move on into fantasy. Yay, fantasy. The first one is a historical fantasy romance called Mortal Follies by Alexis Hall. This one is written, I can't say for sure because I have not read Austen or Bronte, but I feel like it's written in that style. You were given a narrator who tells you the story and adds commentary, because they were there watching the events unfold, of course. It is the year 1814, and life for a young lady of good breeding has many difficulties. There are balls to attend, fashions to follow, marriages to consider, and of course, the tiny complication of existing in a world swarming with fairy spirits, interfering deities, and straight-up actual sorcerers. Miss Maylis Mitchellmore finds her entry into high society hindered by an irritating curse. It begins innocuously enough with her dress slowly unmaking itself over the course of an evening at a high-profile ball, a scandal she narrowly manages to escape. It's quite bad, and this happens in the first chapter. However, as the curse progresses to a more fatal proportions, Miss Mitchellmore must seek out aid, even if that means mixing with undesirable company. And there are few less desirable than Lady Georgina Landrake, a brooding, alluring young woman sardonically nicknamed the Duke of Annandale, who may or may not have murdered her own father and brothers to inherit their fortune. If one is to believe the gossip, she might be some kind of malign enchantress. Then again, the malign enchantress might be exactly what Miss Mitchellmore needs. And also coming out this week is Lore Olympus Volume 4 by Rachel Smythe. Smythe? Lore Olympus is, of course, a webtoon thing following Hades and Persephone reimagined. It looks adorable, it's romancy, it's fantasy. Yes, still have not started it, but I know it's very popular and everybody loves this, so Volume 4 is coming out soon. And our last one of the week is going to be Critical Role, The Mighty Nean Origins of Mollymuck Tea Leaf. Written, I think, in a collaborative thing. Join Critical Role Vox Machina Origins writer Jody Hauser, artist extraordinaire Hunter Bonyan, and Critical Role's Matthew Mercer and Tesleen Jaff, as they reveal Mollymock evolution from empty shell to vibrant individual, and the dark corners of his past that even he is afraid to examine. What strange events created Mollymock Tea Leaf? Entertainer, fighter, performer Molly has a knack for hiding his true self behind the shifting color and shape of a personality he seems to wear, like his singular coat. Yeah. But as with every member of the mighty Neem, his past will eventually catch up with him, and it's a strange one indeed. That's all for this week's list. Maybe you found something new and intriguing sounding to go pick up or at least add to the consideration of your TBR. If you enjoyed this, maybe you'll consider checking out the book box battle from this past weekend or my June TBR. And if you like my videos, subscribe so you can join us for future new releases, vlogs, unboxings, and reviews coming soon. Thank you guys so much for being here. Hope you're finding something awesome to read today, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.